Yeah, good evening, everyone. In the last session, we discussed about the modules of the Spring Framework. So, quickly tell me what is the Spring Framework and why we are going for Spring Framework. What is Spring Framework and why we are going for Spring Framework? Spring is called as Application Development Framework. So, we learned what is the Spring, right? Spring is called as Application Development Framework. This framework developed by Rod Johnson. Can I call Spring as only ORM framework? No. Can we call Spring as only web framework? No. Spring is called as Application Development Framework. How can we say Spring is Application Development Framework? Spring is used to develop all the logics required for the application. Entire application development can be done by using Spring. That's why Spring is called as Application Development Framework. So Spring latest version is 6.x version in the last year that got released. So Spring is versatile framework. What is the meaning of versatile? Spring framework can be integrated with any other framework available in the market. And Spring framework is loosely coupled. It is developed in the modular fashion. Can you tell me what are the modules available in the Spring framework? So we are having Spring core module, Spring context module, Spring DAO module, Spring ORM, Spring AOP, Spring WebMVC, Spring REST, Spring Data JPA, Spring Cloud, Spring Security, Spring Social, Spring Batch. Like that, there are a couple of modules available in the Spring framework. So can you please tell me what is the purpose of Spring core module? What is the purpose of Spring core module? Spring core module is used to develop the classes with loosely coupling. So what are the fundamental concepts providing by core module? One is IOC container and second one is dependency injection. By using IOC and DI, we can develop our classes with loosely coupling. One class can talk to another class without creating the object and without inheriting the properties. That we can achieve by using core module. Then next one is Spring context module. Can you tell me what is the purpose of context module? Context module is used to deal with configurations that are required for our application. That means, so we are going to develop so many classes in the project. Which classes Spring should manage, which classes I will manage. I need to differentiate that by writing some configuration. That the configurations we can manage by using Spring context module. Then we have Spring AOP module. Can you tell me what is AOP? AOP stands for Aspect Oriented Programming. AOP stands for Aspect Oriented Programming. What is the main purpose of AOP? To separate the primary logic and secondary logic. Can you tell me what is secondary logic? Security, transaction, auditing, exception handling, all these things comes under secondary logics. Secondary logics are also called as cross-cutting logic, right? By using this AOP module, we can separate the primary logic and secondary logics in the project. And the next one is Spring DAO, which is also called as Spring JDBC. What is the purpose of Spring DAO module? It is used to develop persistence layer. It is extension for the JDBC. So if you are writing 6 lines in the JDBC, by using DAO, we can write only 2 lines of code. Now, as alternate or as the extension for the ORM framework, Spring introduced a concept called Spring ORM. What is the purpose of Spring ORM? What is the purpose of Spring ORM? Spring ORM also used to develop persistence layer. Spring JDBC also used to develop persistence layer. Why 2 modules available to develop persistence layer? It is going to deal with the text data. DAO module will be dealing with the text data. ORM module will be dealing with the objects data. right? How you will deal with the objects in the Hibernate? Similarly, we can deal with the objects by using Spring ORM. How you will deal with the text data in the JDBC? Similarly, we can deal with the text data in the DAO. So to reduce number of lines of code, we can go for either DAO module or ORM module. If you want to develop persistence layer with the objects support, then we need to go for Spring ORM. Then after, we have seen one more module called Spring WebMVC module. What is the purpose of Spring WebMVC module? Come on. What is the purpose of Spring WebMVC module? Spring WebMVC module is used to develop web applications. Spring WebMVC module is used to develop web applications by using Spring. How we developed web application by using servlet? Similarly, we can develop the web application by using Spring. You may ask a question. Servlets already available to develop the web application. Why we need to go for the Spring WebMVC? Already we are able to develop web application by using servlet. When the servlet is already available, then why should we go for WebMVC to develop the same kind of web application? Boilerplate code can be avoided. Some ready-made code will be provided by WebMVC that is not available in the servlet. If you go for servlet, each and everything we have to write on our own. But if you go for WebMVC module, it will provide you some piece of code. You need to write only your business logic. Web application development is simplified by using this WebMVC module. This WebMVC module internally using servlets only. Instead of we are directly creating the servlets, we are going to use WebMVC classes. Those WebMVC classes we internally talk to servlet classes. Are you clear? Next one, there is another module called Spring REST module is available. Can you tell me what is the REST module? Come on, guys. What is the purpose of the REST module? Spring REST module is used to develop RESTful services. What is the purpose of RESTful services? Distributed application. If one application wants to communicate with the another application, then we need a mediator. Google Pay is communicating with your bank application, right? From one bank, we are able to transfer the amount to the another bank, right? When we are able to book the passport application talking to Aadhaar application, our IRCTC application talking to banking application. In the real time, one software project will communicate with the another software project. The projects which are communicating with each other, they are called as distributed projects. To develop such kind of distributed projects, we are going to use Spring REST. By using this Spring REST, we are going to develop RESTful services. We are going to develop RESTful services. Why we need the RESTful services? RESTful services are used to integrate software applications. One application wants to communicate with the another application. If one application wants to communicate with the another application, we need RESTful services as a mediator. By using Spring REST, we can develop those RESTful services, right? So similarly, we are having another module in the Spring that is called Spring Data JPA. What is the module available, guys? Spring Data JPA module is available. It is the extension for Spring ORM module. Already we are having the ORM. It is the extension for Spring ORM. It is providing ready-made methods to perform CRUD operations in database. Right. So here, without writing single line of code, we can perform database operations when you go for Data JPA. If you go for normal Hibernate, how many lines of code we need to write? 8 lines of code we need to write to insert a record. If you go for Spring ORM, how many lines of code is required? 1 line of code is required. You need to call Hibernate template.save method. If you go for this Spring Data JPA, you no need to write that 1 line of code also. You no need to write that 1 line of code also, because the ready-made methods are available in the Data JPA. By using this Data JPA, we are going to develop persistence layer. Now, to develop the persistence layer, how many options we have as a Java developer? You can develop the persistence layer by using JDBC, plain JDBC you can use. To develop persistence layer, you can go for plain JDBC, or you can go for Spring JDBC. You can go for Hibernate. You can go for Hibernate. You can go for Hibernate. You can go for Spring ORM. You can go for Spring Data JPA. So total there are 5 options available for us to develop DAO layer. What will be there in the DAO layer? Logic to communicate with the database. I want to communicate with the database to perform database operations. To communicate with the database, we need to write some piece of code. You can write that code by using JDBC, or you can use Spring JDBC, or you can use Hibernate, or Spring ORM, or Data JPA. Currently, people are using which concept? Currently, people are using which concept? Data JPA. Why people are using Data JPA? We no need to write the code. Data JPA will provide you ready-made methods to perform the CRUD operations. If you want to insert the record, they will insert the record if you just call their method. If you want to retrieve the record, you just call their method, they will perform the operation. Without writing any code, we can communicate with the database if you are going for Data JPA. Why? Because Data JPA providing some classes and interfaces. By using their classes and interfaces, we are going to develop that project. So you no need to write the code to perform operations with the database. So we have 5 options to develop persistence layer in the Java projects. You can go for JDBC, Spring JDBC, Hibernate, or Spring ORM, or Spring Data JPA. Are you clear with my point? Yes, good. The next one, we have another module called Spring Security module is available. In the Spring framework, there is a module called Spring Security. The name itself saying that it is used to implement security for our application. Every application should have a security. Which user should access our application? Which user should access which functionality in our application? That we can control by using Spring Security. Are you getting my point? So what is the purpose of this Spring Security module? It is used to secure our Spring based applications. Whatever the application that we are developing by using Spring, that application you can secure by using this Spring Security. By using Spring Security, we can implement both authentication and authorization by using Spring Security. So authentication, authorization we need to implement in our project. So what is the meaning of authentication? Can you guys tell me what is the meaning of authentication? Decide who can access our application. That comes under authentication. For every project, authentication is required. That is called login checking. Whether the client username and password is valid or not, we can verify. The process of verifying client username and password is called as authentication. Authentication is used to decide who can access our application. The next one, in the security, we are going to implement a concept called authorization. What is the meaning of authorization? Who can access? Can this user access particular functionality or not? Some admins will be available, users will be available. Admin will have access for every functionality in the project. But what about user? Can user access everything in the project? Simple. You can see our mobile app. If you log in into our mobile app, what option you have? You can just download the study material. If I log in into the admin app, I have the option to download the file, and I have the option to upload the file also. That means which user can access which functionality in the project, that also we can control by using Spring Security. If user login, just to give the download functionality. If admin login, give the download plus upload functionality also. Like that, in our projects, we are going to perform both authentication and authorization. So in order to implement authentication and authorization in the project, we are going to use Spring Security. Every project requires a security. Can we develop a project without security? Will client accept that project? For every project, security is mandatory. We need to implement security for our project. What is the meaning of implementing security? Authentication plus authorization we have to implement. What is the meaning of authentication? Decide who can access our application. What is the meaning of authorization? Identify logged in user. Identify logged in user having access for the functionality or not. Access for the functionality or not. For particular functionality, when user login, give only download option. When admin login, give the download plus upload option also. If user try to access upload functionality, my application should allow or my application should not allow. My application should not allow. Where we are going to check that? Authorization. How to implement that authorization? Spring Security. Spring Framework provided a module called Security Module. By using that security module, we can secure our application. Securing the application, nothing but implementing both the authentication and the authorization in our application. Are you guys clear? What is the purpose of data JPA? What is the purpose of data JPA? Data JPA is the extension for Spring ORM. This is also used to develop persistence layer, nothing but DAO layer. What is the purpose of Spring Security? It is used to secure our application. Both authentication and authorization can be implemented in our project. What is the meaning of authentication? It is the process of deciding who can access our application. What is the meaning of authorization? It is the process of identifying logged in user having the access for that functionality or not. Right. Next one, in the Spring, there is another module called Spring Batch module. What is that, guys? Spring Batch module. Batch means bulk operation. Batch means bulk operation. Now, in the real time, we need to perform batch operations. What is the meaning of batch operations? Sending email for 1 lakh customers at a time. I want to send the email to 1 lakh customers at a time. Same message, greeting message, Happy New Year, Happy Sankranti, Happy Ugadi. Like that, I want to send a message to all my customers. 1 lakh customers available in my business. For 1 lakh customers, I want to send a message at a time. Then we need to go for batch operation. Batch means bulk operation. Simple. When the new batch is starting, we will send a bulk SMS for you. So there are so many people who registered for the course. For all the students, I want to send a message in the single shot. That comes under batch operation. In the real time, let us take SBI Bank. How many people will have accounts in the SBI? Millions of people, crores of people. Crores of accounts will be available in the SBI. Every month end, I want to send a bank statement to every SBI customer. Are you guys getting my point? Are you getting the bank statement to your mail? You are getting a PDF to your mail, right? Every month on 5th or 6th, you will get a bank statement. Now, who is sending that bank statement? Do you think that Narendra Modi is sending a PDF to your mail as an attachment? That is a government application. Central government, SBI, state government or central government? Central government. Who is ruling that central government? Modi. So do you think that Modi is sending that email? Who is sending that email? Application is sending that email. Right. Our application is going to send that email. Our Java application will read all the customers' data all the customers transactions data for every customer. It will generate a PDF with the transaction history of the last month. That PDF it will send to your email as a attachment. So that email will go to only one customer. That email will go to all the customers in the SBI. All the customers in the SBI. Crores of users available in the SBI. So Java application which is sending the email to all the customers with the bank statement, that Java application is called as a batch application. That means we need to perform bulk operation. Example, sending bulk email to customers, sending bulk SMS to students, sending bulk SMS to students regarding new batch, regarding course update, right? Sending bank statement to account holders. Like this, we will have several operations that we need to perform in the real time. In order to perform such kind of bulk operations, Spring Framework provided a module called batch module. So when we need to go for batch module is used to perform bulk operation in the project. Suppose I have a Excel data. In my Excel, 1 million records available. I want to read the 1 million records from the Excel. I want to store in the database. That can I consider as a bulk operation? Can I consider that as a bulk operation? I got one Excel file. In that Excel file, 1 lakh records are available. Those 1 lakh records I want to store into my database table. So I need to read each and every record from the Excel. Row by row, I need to read the data. I need to insert the data into database. Such a kind of operations can be implemented by using Spring Batch module. Are you able to understand my point? Yep, tell me, what is the purpose of Spring Batch module? Batch module is used to perform bulk operation. Can you tell me what is a bulk operation? Sending account statement, reading file data and store into database, read the records from file, and store into DB. Read records from file and store into database. That also we can consider as a bulk operation. Good. Next one, there is another module that is Spring Cloud. There is another module that is called Spring Cloud. It is providing the functionality to develop microservice based applications. We want to develop our application as a microservices based application. It provides some configurations required for microservices development. Spring Cloud, it provides configurations required for microservices development. It provides configurations required for microservices development. Any idea what is a microservice? What is this course? From three classes already completed, you did not know the title of the course also. Nobody asked that question also. Sir, from 3 days you are explaining Spring. What is Spring Boot? What is microservice? Correct. Microservice means mobile application. Large application will be divided into small applications. That is called microservice. Microservice is not a technology, guys. Microservices is a design pattern. We are going to develop microservices based application by using Spring Boot. Right now, see, in the industry, projects will be developed in two ways. One is called as monolith application. Monolith application, that is old style of development. 6-7 years back, people used to develop the project with this style. Nowadays, from last 5 to 6 years, people are developing the application by using microservices. So for the monolith, there are some problems in the monolith. To overcome the problems of the monolith, people are going for microservices development. What is the main purpose of our course? Our course is used to understand how to develop a project with a microservices architecture, right? So what we need to understand? Monolith and microservices. What is a monolith? Monolith means single application contains all the functionalities. If you develop one single project with all the requirements. Now let us take a requirement of e-commerce application. What will be there in the e-commerce application? Products will be available. Okay. Transactions will be available. I mean, cash payment will be available. Products will be available. Payments will be available. Reports will be available. Shipment will be available. Cancellation will be available. Like that, n number of functionalities will be available in the, let's take a Flipkart or Amazon. You can see all the products. You can add the products to the cart. You can place the order. You can ask for the replacement of the product. You can go for cancellation of the order. You can see order history. Like n number of functionalities will be available. All these functionalities will be developed as a single application. For this application, we will be having one UI. UI will be available and a database will be available. Whenever you perform some operation on the UI, then it will talk to the backend application. Backend application will talk to the database. So if you develop everything in one project, if you develop all the requirements in one project, that project is called as monolith based project. What is the meaning of a monolith based project? If you develop all the functionalities in one single project, that is called monolith based application. What is the problem if I go for monolith application? Tomorrow, I want to modify some code. I want to modify some code. Then what will happen? Entire code should be compiled. Entire code should be packaged. Entire code should be deployed. For example, I'm facing some problem in one class in the project. I got one exception in one class. Then whole project will be affected because all the functionalities I have developed as a single project. All the functionalities I have developed as single project. If I develop all the functionalities in a single project, then that project is called as monolith application. That is legacy. That is the old approach to develop the project. Currently in the market, how people are developing the application? People are developing the application by using microservices. Sir, what is the meaning of the microservices? You don't develop everything as one project. You divide your functionality into multiple projects. I want to implement a payment functionality. Payment functionality will be developed as one project. Payment functionality will be developed as one project. I want to develop a cart functionality. Cart functionality will be developed as one project. So here, these are separate projects. I want to develop a reports functionality. Reports will be developed as a separate project. So everything will be developed as a separate project. For all these projects, UI will be one. One UI will be available. User interface will be available. And here, these modules can have same database or they can have different database also. Payment will have its own database. Cart will have its own database. And reports will have its own database. Like this, whatever the functionality we want to develop, instead of developing that functionality in one project, we are developing the functionality into multiple projects. What is the advantage if I develop the functionality like this? Maintenance will be easy. Tomorrow, there is a problem in the cart functionality. If there is a problem in the cart functionality, do I need to change the other projects or I no need to change the other projects? No need to change the other projects. I have modified the code in the reports functionality. Do I need to deploy all the functionalities or I have to deploy only reports functionality? I have to deploy only reports functionality. So here, if you develop all the requirements in one project, that project is called as monolith based project. It is outdated approach. 10 years back, 7 to 8 years back, people used to develop the project by using monolith architecture, which is outdated in the software industry now. What is the trend in the market? The trend in the market is microservices. What is the meaning of microservices? Whatever the client requirement is there, don't to develop the entire code in one project. If you develop all the functions, stand up. What are you doing? What are you doing? Tell me 10 exceptions that you faced in the Java. I want 10 exception class names. What is the exception? Exception and error. What is the difference between exception and error? Seriously, I'm explaining a concept. You are chatting in the mobile. Tell me 10 exception class names. Tell me 10 exception class names. You know what is exception, right? Your core Java is done. Exception handling is done. Yeah. What is exception? What is exception in the Java? Why are you coming to the class? What's your name? Ravi. Naveen. Yeah, Naveen. Tell me, what is exception? And tell me 10 exceptions that you know in the Java. 10 exception class names. At least 10 Java class names can you tell? 10 Java class names, predefined class names in the Java. Go and stand in the backside. Right. So we are trying to understand what is a monolith application and what is microservices application. What is the meaning of a monolith? What is the meaning of monolith? What is the meaning of monolith? Hello, mister. I want to see your face, this side. What is a monolith? Come on. If you develop all the functionalities in the single project, that application is called as a monolith application. If you develop your project as a monolith application, lot of maintenance problems will come. If I modify single line of code, the whole project I have to compile, the whole project I have to package as a WAR file, the whole project I have to deploy in the server. So to overcome the problems of the monolith architecture, in the companies, we are going to develop the project by using microservices architecture. What is the meaning of microservices architecture? We are going to divide the project functionality into several small projects. So whatever the requirement we have, instead of developing all the requirements in one project, we are dividing the requirements into small projects. What is the advantage if I divide into small projects? Maintenance will become easy. Tomorrow, there is a problem in the reports functionality. Do I need to modify all the code or only report project I have to modify? Only report module I have to modify. There is some problem in the cart functionality. Do I need to touch the remaining projects? Not required. So that's why in the market, people are going to develop application by using microservices. This microservices is not a Java concept. This microservices concept can be used by .NET people. This can be used by Python people. This can be used by Java people also. Microservice is not a technology. Microservice is not a framework. Microservice is one design pattern. It is an approach to develop the application. Earlier, people used to develop the application by using monolith. They faced a lot of problems. That's why slowly people migrated from monolith application to microservices based application. When we are developing the microservices based application, we need to do some configurations. Those configurations we are going to implement by using a concept called Spring Cloud. Spring Cloud is going to provide a server called service registry. We need to create a service registry for our microservices, and we need to create API gateway. Admin server will be available and API gateway will be available, etc. Such kind of configurations that are required for our microservices based project. To manage the configurations that are required for the microservice based project, we are going to use a concept called Spring Cloud. That is one module in the Spring framework. Spring Cloud is one module in the Spring framework. It is used to manage the configurations that are required for microservices development. By end of this course, you will be able to develop a project like this. What is the main aim of our course? To develop the project by using microservices architecture. Now, to develop these microservices, we are going to use RESTful services. What we are going to create, guys? We are going to create RESTful services. Every microservice we are going to call as a REST API, cart REST API, payment REST API, report REST API, user REST API, admin REST API, like that. We are going to create several REST APIs in the project. Who is going to access these REST APIs? User interface is going to access. That UI will be developed by using Angular or React. UI will be developed by using Angular or React. So UI will be developed as one application. UI is a separate project which will be developed by using Angular or React. Now, you see the famous application is available, which is makemytrip.com. If you go to makemytrip.com, user interface is available. Whatever we are seeing on the browser, this is a UI application. Whatever you see on the browser, this is a UI application. Now here I'm going to click on hotels. When I click on hotels and click on search, what will happen? From the UI, the request will go to hotels REST API. In the backend, hotels will be available as a separate project. Whenever you click on trains and you search for that, the request will go from the UI application to trains application. Hotels is one project, trains is one project, cabs is one project, payment is one project. So everything will be developed as separate small project. Those projects which you are developing in the backend, those are called as microservices. To develop those microservices, we are going to create REST APIs. To create the REST APIs, we are going to use a module called Spring REST module. Now, microservice we are going to create by using Spring REST. That microservice should communicate with the database. For that, we are going to use the data JPA, right? Now, UI application will be available, microservices will be available. UI application will run in one server, microservice 1 will run in one server, microservice 2 will run in one server, microservice 3 will run in one server. So our project will be developed as small projects. All the small projects we are going to integrate with our UI. Whenever you click on hotels, from the UI, the request will go to hotels project. When you click on the trains, from the UI, the request will go to trains project. When you click on the cabs, from the UI, the request will go to cabs project. Tomorrow, there is a problem in the hotels project. If there is a problem in the hotels project, is there any effect on the flights, trains, buses, cabs? No. Why? Hotels is a separate project in the backend. There is some code change in the trains project. Do I need to compile flights to hotels projects? I am making the code change in the trains project. Do I need to touch flights, hotels, homestays, holiday packages? No. Here, whatever the functionalities you are seeing in the Make My Trip, that Make My Trip functionality is developed as microservices. Why they are going for microservices? Easy maintenance. Tomorrow, the maintenance of the project will become easy. If I want to make some code changes in the report API, I'm going to compile only report API. I'm going to deploy only report API. without touching the payment functionality, without touching the cart functionality, I can redeploy the latest code for only report project. That is the advantage we are getting if you go for microservices development. So what is our course name? Spring Boot and microservices. Now you understand what is microservice? From 3 days, I'm expecting this question. Nobody asked it. What is microservice? The name itself, Spring Boot and microservices. What is the meaning of microservices? What is the meaning of microservices now? The project functionality will be divided into small project. Here, payment functionality I am developing in one project as one project. Cart functionality I will develop as one project. Report functionality I will develop as one project. Admin functionality will be available. I will develop as one project. These small projects are called as microservices, right? Microservice nothing but a small project. Microservice nothing but a small project which contains small functionality, which contains limited functionality. What is the difference between monolith application and microservice application? What is the meaning of monolith and microservice? What is a monolith? Come here. You tell me, what is the monolith application and what is microservice application? जोर से बोलो. Speak loud. Speak loud. Did anybody understand? What is explaining? Did anybody understand? No, they are not able to understand. Tell me. What is template? From last 20 minutes, I am speaking multiple times. What is monolith? What is microservice? Even after standing also, you are not concentrating. How you will get the job? Where are you from? Come on. I don't know. If you learn, you will get the job. Your life will be settled. If you don't learn, am I going to lose anything? Am I going to lose anything if you don't concentrate? Nothing. I will not lose single rupee also. If you don't listen, that is loss for you. You paid 25,000 rupees. There is no use of that. You are not able to tell 10 exception class names. You are not able to tell 10 Java class names. What are you doing from last 4 months? Why are you coming to the classes? You have to think. If you listen, if you get the job, that is benefit for you, for your family, not for me, not for my family. Okay? So keep that in mind and concentrate. If you chat with your friends, time waste, nothing you are going to get. Your body present, mind absent. Not only him, there are so many people like that. Remember, you are not doing the course for Ashok sir. Okay? If you learn, you will get the benefit. If you don't learn, who will affect? Am I going to affect? I will not lose anything. You are the loser. Keep that in the mind when you are attending the classes. In the whole Amirpet, you can attend in any institute for the Spring Boot microservices for real-time project. You will not get this kind of content anywhere. Daily 1.5 hours to 2 hours of time we are spending to understand, to teach you the basic fundamentals. Realize what is the importance of that. Sit down. Right. We are trying to understand what is a monolith application and what is microservices application. So tell me, what is a monolith? What is a microservice? Monolith means if you are developing all the functionalities in the single project, then that is called monolith application. What is the problem with the monolith application? Maintenance problem. If I want to make a small change, then I need to compile the whole project. I need to package a whole project. I need to deploy the whole project. So maintenance wise, it is very, very difficult and it is very, very challenging if you develop your project as a monolith. To overcome the problems of the monolith application, we are going to develop our project as a microservices based project. What is the meaning of microservices based project? Functionalities will be developed as small projects. Those small projects are called as REST APIs. UI will be developed as a separate project. Backend will be developed as a separate projects. When user access the UI will send the request to backend application. In the backend, one application will be available or multiple applications will be available. Multiple applications will be available. Those multiple applications are called as microservices. What is the advantage of going for these microservices? Maintenance is easy. Tomorrow, if there is a problem in one project, other projects will not be affected. If I want to make a code change in one project, only that project code I am going to modify. I will not modify the code in the other project. Now, if you see MakeMyTrip, do you think that MakeMyTrip is developed as a monolith? No. Why? They want to make the functionality as loosely coupled. If there is a problem in the flights, still people can access hotels, buses, cabs, and other functionalities. So easy maintenance will be available. Loosely coupling will be available when you develop the project by using microservices architecture. Now, in the industry, every technology using microservices. Even .NET people also will develop the project by using microservices. Python people also will develop the project by using microservices. Java people also will develop the project by using microservices. Java people are using Spring Boot technology to develop the project in the microservices architecture. That's why we are calling that course as Spring Boot and microservices. So Spring Boot is a framework. So Spring Boot is the extension for the Spring framework. Already Spring is available. So extension for the Spring is Spring Boot. By using Spring Boot, what we are going to do? By using Spring Boot, we are going to develop microservices. That's why we are calling it as Spring Boot and microservices. So what is the meaning of microservices development? Developing the REST APIs. Developing the REST API. UI is one project. Backend is multiple projects. In the front end, one project will be available. In the backend, multiple projects will be available. The multiple projects we are developing in the backend are called as REST APIs. To develop those REST APIs, we are using Spring Boot. What is the Spring Boot? Spring Boot is a framework. So how Spring Boot came into picture? Already Spring is available. The extension for the Spring is Spring Boot. More lines of code can be reduced by using Spring Boot. Are you clear? Good. Now, in the real time, how a project will be developed, that we are going to understand. Before that, so can you tell me what is the purpose of this Spring Cloud? What is the purpose of Spring Cloud? It provides configurations required for microservices development. Now we understood what is microservice, basic idea. Microservice is 1 month course for us. So if you see in our syllabus, microservice will be available. So microservices development we have to understand. So in our course, if you see under microservices, how many topics are there? So if you observe here, yeah. So what is this topic, guys? Spring REST. What is the meaning of Spring REST? We need to develop the RESTful services. Once the RESTful services completed, then what we are going to develop? Microservices we are going to develop. So in the microservices, what is the first concept? Monolith. Today I'm just giving the overview. The actual movie is pending. It is just a trailer, right? What is the monolith? Monolith case study. How monolith will be deployed? What is a load balancer? What is a load balancer algorithm will be available? And then what is the monolith drawbacks? microservice introduction, microservice advantages, disadvantages, case study, architecture, development, all these are microservices concepts only, right? It is going to take 1 month of time to understand REST API development and microservices. Got it? Today it is just a overview what we are going to learn from this course. Spring Boot and microservices. Spring Boot is extension for the Spring framework, which is used to develop the application. By using that Spring Boot framework, we will develop microservices based application. Before microservices, people used to develop monolith application. Monolith means everything in one project. Now, project functionalities will be divided into small projects. Good. So as part of the microservices development, we need to make some configurations in the project. To make those configurations, we are going to use a module called Spring Cloud module. So you got the overview of the modules of the Spring. Yep. Right. See here. So we understood the overview of what is the Spring and what are the modules available in the Spring framework. So Spring is, what is a Spring? Come on, I want response. Spring is called as Application Development Framework. The entire project can be developed by using Spring framework. Spring framework is developed in modular fashion. There are several modules available in the Spring framework. So modules are tightly coupled or modules are loosely coupled. Modules are loosely coupled. Modules are loosely coupled. So is it mandatory to use all the modules in the Spring? No, it is not mandatory to use all the modules of the Spring. Whichever is required for you, only that module you can use. What is the core module? Core module is the base module of the Spring framework. What we can do by using core module? By using core module, we can develop the classes with the loosely coupling. One class should be able to communicate with the another class with loosely coupling. To develop the classes with loosely coupling, core module is providing IOC container and dependency injection. Those are fundamental concepts of the Spring framework. Same things are available in the Spring Boot also. Spring Boot is not a separate framework. It is the extension for the Spring. Whatever the concepts are available in the Spring, same concepts can be used in the Spring Boot also. Right. Then what is the purpose of context module? Configuration. Configuration management we are going to do by using context module. Then what is the purpose of AOP? AOP is to separate primary logics and secondary logics in the project. DAO to develop persistence layer. Spring JDBC or Spring DAO. It is the extension for the JDBC, Java JDBC. Spring ORM, extension for the ORM frameworks. Spring WebMVC, extension for the servlet. So by using servlets, you can develop a web application. Same kind of web application can be developed by using WebMVC also with the less number of lines of code. Right. What is the Spring REST? To develop distributed applications. What is the meaning of distributed application? If one application is communicating with the another application, that is called distributed application. You see, microservices nothing but a distributed application only. Backend is one project, front end is one project. Front end project want to communicate with the backend project. Can I call them as a distributed application? Yes, they are distributed application. So to develop the distributed applications, we are going for Spring REST. Then we have another module called Spring Data JPA. What is the purpose of Data JPA? To develop persistence layer only, but no need to write the code. They are providing ready-made methods to write that. After that, we are having Spring Security. What is the meaning of Spring Sec? What is the purpose of Spring Security? It is used to secure our application. For every application, security is mandatory. Can you release a project to the client without security? No. Security is mandatory in every project. Coming to security, we are going to implement authentication and authorization. What is the meaning of authentication? Deciding who can access our application. What is the meaning of authorization? Deciding whether this user can access this functionality or not. That can be done by using authorization. That authentication and authorization we can implement by using security. Next one, Spring Batch is available. What is the purpose of Spring Batch? Spring Batch is used to perform bulk operation. What is the meaning of bulk operation? What is the meaning of bulk operation? Come on. Doing the operation on the multiple records at a time. I have 1 million records in the Excel file. I want to read the Excel data. I want to store into database. I want to send a mail to my customers. I want to send a message to my students. I want to send the bank statement to my account holders. Like that, in the real time, multiple bulk operations we need to perform. To simplify bulk operations development in the project, we are going to use a module called batch module. Then we have Spring Cloud. Then we have Spring Cloud. What is the meaning of Spring Cloud? Configurations required for the microservices development. Microservice means small projects will be available. Are you guys clear? Good. Now in the real time, how our projects will be developed? In the real time, projects will be developed by using microservices architecture. What people will do is, they will develop backend functionality as microservices. For example, I want to develop a hotels functionality. For the hotels functionality, hotels API will be available. That is called REST API. Similarly, I want to book the trains, right? Here, trains API will be available and CAPS will be available. CAPS API will be available. CAPS API will be available separately. So now, similarly here, we are having something like flights. Flights API will be available. And I want some reports in my project. So reports API will be available in the project. Now, hotels API is one project. Trains API is one project. Is there any relation between hotels and trains? No, they are completely different. Then why to develop in the single project? Then we want to make them as loosely coupled. Hotels functionality will be developed in the hotels API. Trains functionality will be developed in the trains API. CAPS functionality in the CAPS API. Flights API and reports API. Now, depends on the requirement, all these APIs may have a single database or every project may have separate database. That depends on the requirement. Actually, hotels API DB is not required for the trains API. Trains API database not required for the CAPS API. CAPS API DB not required for the flights. Got it? Now, here, this is the DB related to hotels API. This is the DB related to trains API, related to CAPS API, related to flights API. Now, reports API should have the access for all the databases. I want to download how many flight tickets booked today, how many CAPS booked today, how many train tickets booked in the last 1 month. Like this, my reports API is available. My reports API should be able to access the data which is available in all the databases. So like this, based on the requirement in the real time, our microservices can communicate with the same database or our microservices can communicate with the different databases. Are you getting my point? Now, first, in the company also, first we are going to develop our backend projects. As a developer, first we are going to develop our backend projects. Now, this API is going to communicate with the database. This will communicate with the database. This will communicate with the database. This will communicate with the database. What about the reports API? Reports API needs the data from all the databases. My reports API can connect with all the databases that are using by our project. Hotels is one project developed as one API. It is having its own database. CAPS developed as one API. It is having its own database. Flights is one API. It is having its own API. Once all the backend development is completed, we are going to test the backend API working as expected or not. There are some tools available in the market like Postman. Have you heard about a tool called Postman? No? No, here in the syllabus I mentioned a tool called Postman. Right? Here, whatever the backend APIs we are developing for our project, before developing the front end of the project, I want to test my backend APIs are working as expected or not. So to test our REST APIs without using the front end, we are going to use a tool called Postman. So here, as a Java developer, tomorrow also, when you go for the company, whenever a requirement comes to you, first you will analyze the requirement. For that requirement, first we are going to develop the backend. That means first we are going to develop the REST API. Once the REST API development is completed, we are going to verify that REST API functionality working as expected or not. So it may be a database communication, it may be email sending, it may be OTP sending, it may be reading the data from the file, it may be generating the data from database to file. Business logic will be available. Is that business logic working as expected or not? That we are going to test by using a tool called Postman. If everything is working in the backend, then we are going to start our front-end development. Backend front-end will be available in the same project, or they will be available as multiple projects. Complete user interface will be available as one project. So here UI will be available as one project. That UI, people are using Angular or React to develop that UI. So once the front end development is completed, then front end and back end integration will be available. User interface we need to develop. That is called our UI. That is called our UI. Once the user interface is developed, between the user interface and the backend, there will be a gateway. Security concepts will be available. So between the UI and backend APIs, there will be a concept called API gateway. There is a concept called API gateway. So whenever user send a request from the UI, the request will go to API gateway. From the API gateway, the request will go to actual APIs, right? From here, hotels API, access trains API, access caps API, flights API, reports API. So like this, we are going to design our project. Front end will be available, back end will be available. Between the front end and back end, one gate will be available. That gate is called API gateway. What is API gateway? API gateway will act as mediator between front end and back end. Which request should go to which API in the back end. Whether this request can be processed or this request should not be processed, that authorization we can implement in the API gateway. API gateway will manage all the requests which we are getting to our application. API gateway will decide whether to process this request or we should not process this request. So like this, we are going to develop a full stack application. So as a Java developer, first we need to develop the backend APIs. Once the backend APIs development is completed, we need to test our backend APIs are working as expected or not. For that, we are going to use a tool called Postman. Once the backend APIs are working as expected, then we are going to develop the front-end application. Once the front-end development is completed, front-end should be integrated with the backend. Where that integration will happen? API gateway. So when you perform some operation on the UI will send the request to API gateway. API gateway will send the request to backend APIs. API gateway is acting as a mediator between front-end application and backend APIs. In the backend, how many APIs will be available? multiple APIs will be available, depends on the project requirement. So in my current company project, we are having 150 plus APIs in the backend. I am working for credit card management in my bank. So my project is related to credit cards. For the credit card project, UI is available. In the backend, 150 microservices are available. 150 APIs are available in the backend. 150 APIs nothing but 150 projects are available. So if I develop all the 150 projects functionality into single project, maintenance problem. That's why whatever the 150 requirements we are having for the credit card management, those 150 requirements we have developed as 150 microservices. Front end is only one project, but in the back end, 150 APIs are available. Whenever you perform operation in the front end, your request will go to API gateway. From API gateway, the request will go to backend API. The backend API will talk to database and it will perform the operation. As part of these microservices, now Trains API is available. Assume that it is a Make My Trip application, but actually in the India, who is the owner of the trains? Central government IRCTC project. IRCT is the owner of the train business, right? But I am trying to book the train ticket from the Make My Trip. So here, when you book the train ticket from the Make My Trip, that Make My Trip application is going to communicate with the IRCTC application in the background that you don't know as an end user. You don't know that as an end user. If you try to book the train ticket in the Make My Trip application, that Make My Trip application will internally talk to IRCTC application. This is also one distributed application. So lot of connections will be available in the backend that end users will not know, right? So Make My Trip is developed by one company, IRCTC developed by another company. So Make My Trip project should communicate with the IRCTC project. One project should be able to communicate with the another project. If one project wants to communicate with the another project, we need a REST API. RESTful services we are going to use. If one project is communicating with the another project, they are called as distributed projects. One project you are accessing Make My Trip. You are using Make My Trip UI. Now see here, I'm going to Make My Trip application. In the Make My Trip application, I want to search for some trains, right? But actually, who is deciding the trains functionality? IRCTC deciding the trains functionality. Now I am going to trains here. I'm selecting from Delhi to Kanpur. What are the trains available? I'm getting the response in the Make My Trip. How Make My Trip got the trains data? When I send the request from the UI, my request is sending from the UI to Make My Trip Trains API. Make My Trip Trains API communicating with the IRCTC API. IRCTC giving the response to Make My Trip response giving to me. Are you guys getting my point? Internally, so many applications are going to communicate. Now, I'm using Google Pay. My mobile number registered with the Google Pay. I will send the amount to your Google Pay number. You have the account in the SBI. I have the account in the Axis. So money should send from Google Pay to Axis Bank. Axis Bank to SBI. So Axis Bank project developed by one company. Yeah, SBI project developed by another company. There should be some communication between the two banking applications. Then only your Google Pay, Phone Pay will work. So like this, we should be able to establish the communication from one project to another project. That is very, 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 very important requirement in the real time. So earlier, people used to develop everything in one project. Now, functionality is divided into several projects. We should know how to develop the project with microservices architecture, and we should be able to establish the communication from one application to another application also. So that's where Spring Boot microservice is very famous in the market. The main reason people are learning the Spring Boot course is to develop our microservices based applications. Are you clear with this? Yeah. Any questions? Yeah. Spring Security. Yeah, here, in order to secure our application, you need to write the authentication logic. You need to write the authorization logic on your own. If you use a Spring Security, they will provide the ready-made code for you. You no need to write your own logic for that. Spring Security will give you predefined classes, predefined methods to implement the security that is required for your project. So that's where we are going to use that module. In the API gateway, we can use Spring Security concept. API gateway we will develop as one project. In that API gateway, I will use the classes methods provided by Spring Security module. Got it? Yep. Online people, any questions, anyone as of now? Spring Security, Spring Batch, Cloud not mentioned in the syllabus document. I will cover. Even if it is not there in the syllabus, I will cover that content. Spring Batch will be explained. Spring Security will be explained. And Spring AOP also will be explained. Don't worry about it. But guys, you got the basic idea how projects will be developed in the real time. Yeah. Which style we are going to follow in the real time? We are going to develop the projects by using microservices style. Good. Yeah. So with this, as of now, we just completed theoretically what is our course is all about and what we are going to learn from this course and what we are going to develop by end of this course. By end of this course, what we are going to develop? By end of this course, what we are going to develop? We are going to develop a project with the microservices architecture. By end of this course, we are going to develop a project with microservices architecture, and we should know how to communicate from the UI to backend, and from backend from our project to how to communicate with the other projects also. Good. Fine. By using Spring Framework also, can we develop microservices? Yes, we can develop, but you need to do a lot of configurations in the Spring. To avoid the configurations in the Spring Framework, Spring Boot came into picture. Bharat Kumar, you can do it. You can do it. But Spring Boot is having lot of advantages to develop microservices because it will provide some ready-made code which is required for the microservices development. Good. So guys, can you please conclude what we have learned so far in these 4 classes? We learned what is a framework. First we learned what is framework, and we learned types of frameworks in Java. Types of frameworks in Java. ORM frameworks available, web frameworks available, and application development framework is also available. And we understood what is Spring Framework, Spring Framework, and we understood Spring modules. We understood Spring modules, and we understood purpose of each Spring module. Purpose of each Spring module, and we understood monolith versus microservices concept we understood. Now, from the next session that will be happening on Monday, and the Monday session, we are going to start with Spring Core module. In the Spring Core module, we need to understand what is IOC container and what is dependency injection. So we are going to start Spring Core module from Monday. So the class notes I am going to upload into our mobile app, which I have already done. If anybody has not downloaded, online people, you can download. Once you download our mobile app, you can see study material. In the study material, Spring Boot microservice folder is available. In that folder, you can access the class notes till today. Today morning, I uploaded Java 8 notes also in that app, and collections notes also I have uploaded. Now this class notes also I'm going to upload. So Monday, we have the next session. Monday also class will happen on the same Zoom link. Monday, we will start with the Spring Core module. Okay, guys. Fine. Good. Tomorrow, no session. Tomorrow, Sunday. Yeah, we have next class on Monday. Perfect. Thank you guys.